Clara had always prided herself on her independence even when she got married at 65. She never imagined that her love story would end in regret. But life often has a way of turning our expectations upside down. Clara had been married to Thomas for 25 years. Their marriage had started with excitement, filled with passion and new beginnings. But over time, the spark seemed to fade, and the once thriving connection between them became routine. For most of their marriage, Clara had been content. She had always been a strong woman, the kind who knew how to take care of herself and others. She balanced her career with her family life and had built a comfortable routine. But somewhere along the way, Clara began to feel as though something was missing. The excitement and passion they had once shared seemed to slip through her fingers. She tried to ignore it, telling herself that she had a stable life, that there was no need to complicate things, but deep inside, Clara knew something was amiss. It wasn't until she met Vincent that things truly started to shift. Vincent was a former lover who Clara hadn't seen in over 30 years. They had crossed paths a few times over the years, but never in a way that reignited any deep feelings, until one day Clara received a message from Vincent on social media. It started innocently enough with a few friendly exchanges about the past. They reminisced about the times they had spent together in their younger days, and for the first time in years, Clara felt a spark of excitement. Vincent made her laugh in a way Thomas hadn't done in a long time. Their conversations quickly became more frequent. They talked about their lives, their dreams, and their pasts. Each exchange made Clara feel more alive, more connected to herself than she had in years. Soon their conversations began to blur the lines between friendship and something more. Vincent was younger than Thomas, full of life adventure and energy. He represented everything that Clara felt had been missing in her marriage. She began to look forward to their late-night chats, and before she knew it, she was caught up in something she never expected. The first time they met for coffee after decades was electrifying. It wasn't like old times. It was even better. The chemistry between them was undeniable. Vincent listened to her in a way that Thomas hadn't for years. They shared their hopes and desires, talked about the lives they had built, and the dreams they had forgotten. Clara felt a connection she hadn't felt in a long time. It was dangerous, exciting, and completely intoxicating. As Clara spent more time with Vincent, her relationship with Thomas began to change. She became distant, distracted, and disconnected. Thomas began to notice her mood shifts. He wasn't blind to the late-night phone calls and the smile that lit up Clara's face every time Vincent's name appeared on her phone. He confronted her one evening, sensing that something wasn't right. "Clara," he asked gently, "what's going on? I can see it in your eyes. You're not here with me anymore." Clara tried to brush it off. "It's nothing." "Thomas, I'm just stressed with work. That's all." But deep down she knew the truth. She was losing herself in something new, something exciting, and the security of her marriage no longer seemed enough to satisfy her. The weeks that followed were filled with tension. Thomas noticed the small things. Clara was always distracted, always preoccupied with something else. One night as Clara sat with Thomas, she realized how far apart they had drifted. The love that had once seemed eternal now felt fragile. Vincent had become a distraction, a symbol of the life Clara thought she had been missing. Thomas, unable to ignore the growing distance between them, confronted her one more time. He had found a message in her phone from Vincent, a message that read, "I miss our conversations. Can't wait to see you again." His heart sank as he stared at Clara, who looked guilty, but refused to admit the extent of her emotional betrayal. "I want the key back," Thomas said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "I want this to stop. Clara, I can't keep pretending that everything is fine." Clara knew what she had to do, but she wasn't ready to admit it to herself. She was torn between the comfort of the life she had built with Thomas and the excitement of something new with Vincent. The 3 days Thomas had given her to make a decision felt like an eternity. Every day that passed, Clara spent more time with Vincent. Every time she kissed him. Every time they laughed together. The connection to Thomas seemed to fade. The comfort of routine and the security of a long marriage could not compete. With the thrill Vincent provided, on the final day, Clara sat down with Thomas. "I'm sorry," she said, but the words felt hollow. I need more than what we have now. I can't go back." Thomas didn't argue. He didn't fight her. He simply packed his things and left. He was heartbroken, but he knew the relationship had reached its breaking point. Clara felt numb as she watched him go, feeling both relief and sorrow at the same time. Months passed, and Clara's life with Vincent was not as fulfilling as she had imagined. Their relationship lacked depth, and the excitement had faded. Vincent was more of a temporary escape than the love of her life. Clara often thought about Thomas, the man she had abandoned. One day, she heard news that Thomas had moved on. He was seeing someone new. Clara saw a photo of them together, smiling and happy, and it hit her hard. The man she had taken for granted had found happiness again, and it wasn't with her. Clara tried to reach out to him, not to rekindle their relationship, but to apologize. When they met for coffee, Clara could see it in his eyes. He had moved on, and she was left with regret. "I hope you learn from this, Clara," Thomas said quietly, before walking away for good. Clara sat there, realizing that sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones we learn too late. She had chosen excitement over stability, and now she had to live with the consequences of her decision. Her life had changed forever in ways she never could have imagined.